you the evidence that we have from State Farm Arena here in Fulton County, which goes to what Ray was talking about in terms of fraud or misrepresentation. So when that cues, okay. So it's going to be tough because I'm going to have to depart from the microphone and point out some things at times. You're looking at one big room here. This is where, according to our witnesses, who've given us sworn affidavits, this is where the absentee ballots and military ballots are being tabulated on election day. So we have the tape from first thing in the morning all the way past the close of the polls. What you have is essentially two Republican field organizers who were sent here to be observers. At no time were they actually permitted to observe in a meaningful way. I'm sorry, I have a voice issue today. They are roped off with the press on the side.
Tell you what you could do to help us out so that everyone can hear who's live streaming. If you would tell us what you're going to point to, and then we'll point to it.
Okay.
All right.
So now what will happen is these frames can move around. So this can get a little confusing, but I'll make sure to make it clear. We have two observers there that are going to show up, not at this point, this is in the morning, as you can see the daylight. They're going to get there at about 8 o'clock to watch the tabulation of absentee and military ballots. But according to their affidavits, at about 10 o'clock, there was one person working the polls who told everyone in the room to leave on the basis they were going to stop counting and return at 8:30 in the morning. So if I can get the frame for approximately 10 o'clock or 10:20-ish. Okay.
Go play, Joseph.
No.
Go play, Joseph.
We'll have to come back to the morning for a different reason in just a second.
Yep.
Come on, go. Really. You too, Max. Get going.
They're fast forwarding.
Okay, so you can see what time it is.
Yeah, you can see the time at the top, 9:56 p.m. it says.
Max, get out of there. Get
Eastern time.
Get.
So we're at about 10 o'clock. And what you'll notice is that the workers are present, working, and you have, back in that corner I pointed out to you,
Look, that's the corner where
and the Republican
poll watchers
observers
are, back there.
So according to the witnesses, the Republican observers, there is a lady who has blonde braids who comes out to announce we're going to stop counting. Everyone go home. And in fact, we see that. What happens is everyone clears out, including the Republican observers and the press, but 4 people stay behind and continue counting and tabulating well into the night from that point, which is going to be about 10:25 when they all clear out, or 10:30. And they will continue counting, unobserved, unsupervised,
I'll tell you later.
not in public view, as your statute requires, until about 1 in the morning. The reason we know this is because when our Republican observers were forced to leave, they went to the Central Tabulation Center and they got word from a news crew that in fact counting had continued. They have information that not everybody left according to plan, and some people stayed behind. So this shocked them, so they returned back to State Farm Arena at about 1 o'clock in the morning, where they confirmed that in fact people had just left State Farm Arena in contravention of what they've been told by the supervisors who are running this operation. So, okay, we're still at about 10 o'clock. Can you take us to about 10:25 so we can see the change? You're going to watch this place be busy and filled up to emptied at sometime between 10:25 and 10:35, which is consistent with what the affidavits say.
Joseph, shh. Go somewhere else, please. Yeah, see, now you can see the people.
Okay, so 10:25, they're still there. Let's go to 10:35. it takes it just a few minutes for the frames to actually catch up with it. There you go, with the time that you're seeing. So here you see it's all cleared out.
Yep,
We just went
it's
from
all empty except
10:25
for
to 10:37.
the top
The
frame.
place is a ghost town. This is where
Top
the
right
people were
frame.
vacated and told, go home, come back at 8:30.
But
We
you
will
can
now
still see the
stop
poll
working
watchers
and
in
stop
the bottom
counting.
frame behind that big black
But notice who
line.
stays behind. You have 4 people, consistent with our affidavits, who stayed behind. And so you'll see the lady in purple. You'll see 2 women in yellow in the back, which is where the scanners are there at the top, top right frame.
Yeah.
And then the lady with the blonde braids also, who told everyone to leave. Those are the 4 people who will stay behind.
Poll watchers are still there.
So
Those
the
people are still
Republican
there.
observers said they were the last people to leave State Farm Arena, along with the Fox News crew, excepting those 4 people.
Fox News crew too?
So what you're going to see, look at the ladies in yellow. You'll see that they will begin just sitting still, doing nothing, ostensibly not working, because after all, they said they're going to stop counting. They will wait until the witnesses over there in that roped off area, the press and the observers, leave the room. Then you'll see them move into action and begin scanning ballots.
No, you're not going back there.
Okay, so I think what we can do now is fast forward to about 11. Do you see them? Yeah.
No.
Okay, there they walk. They're walking off.
Got it.
Now watch. Watch the top right frame
But the ladies in yellow are still there.
where the girls in yellow are. The ladies in yellow. There's a man there with them too.
Yes,
up there
keep your eyes
somewhere.
on the lady in purple and the 2 in yellow and the woman in the
checking, make
blue
sure there's
apron
nobody
with blonde
left.
braids, because those are the people who stay behind.
Look, girl in purple's walking around.
Okay, so what you're
Make sure
going to
nobody's
see
left.
happen at about 11 o'clock
No more of that. No.
is, once everyone is gone, coast is clear,
Watch the
they
top
are
right
going
frame.
to pull ballots out from underneath a table.
Not allowed back there. Bad dog.
Watch this table.
Not allowed back there. You're not
Top
allowed.
right.
Watch this top right corner right here.
So actually this will take a few minutes, but
They're boxing
We-
up whatever they were doing.
did not know when we first watched this. Okay, is it normal to store suitcases of ballots under a table, under a tablecloth? Is that how they run the place? Maybe this is what they've been doing all day. Maybe this is what they're doing under all the tables. So we went back and watched the video as a team of us. We don't see that. What we see is typically you're going to find ballots, back in this corner,
She's talking about this corner. That's where the ballots come from, is back here.
or
And they
coming
go
in
to
through
be
a door,
adjudicated and
and
they
then
work
they get
their way
moved and
around.
circulated throughout the room. And it can get a little confusing because they have these black containers of ballots. They have the U.S. Postal Service containers. But what we're trying to do when we determined that there were ballots being pulled out from underneath this table is, what was
haven't
the chain
pulled
of
them out
custody?
yet.
Where
Just
did they
wait.
come from? Who
Just
put them
wait.
there?
We'll see
when
it.
did they
Just
put
wait.
them there? We only reviewed this at about 1 a.m. last night for a couple of hours, so we're going to need about 14 hours to watch it carefully because we fast forwarded through it several times
Sorry.
and could not find that particular frame, but here's what we can tell you for sure. At about 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to roll this back and show it
Wait,
to you.
there she
You
is.
go.
There
So
she
now we're going to
is.
start pulling these ballots out
She's
from
gonna
under
pull the
this table.
suitcases out.
This
ballots in
table, the black one, was placed there by the lady with the blonde braids at about 8:22 a.m. in the morning. So she put that table there. So the same person who's staying behind now, the same person who cleared the place out under the pretense that we're
There
going to
goes
stop
one.
counting, is the person who put the table there at 8:22 in the morning. Yeah, I saw 4 suitcases come out from underneath the table.
No, get out of the
2.
Yes!
5.
Was that 5?
5.
Yeah, upper right hand, you see the gentleman in the
I must
red.
have not seen the first
So
one.
he just pulled one out. So what are these ballots doing there, separate from all the other ballots? And why are they only counting them whenever the place is cleared out with no witnesses,
Alright.
is the question. So these machines can process about 3,000 ballots an hour.
And they just sit here and
You have
count
multiple
for-
machines there.
till 1 o'clock in the morning.
And
They
they're
just
there
sit
for
there
2
and scan
hours.
them.
So you do the math. How many ballots went through those machines in those 2 hours when there was no one there to supervise, to be present, consistent with your statutes
Okay,
and rules,
go do something. You're
to
being too
supervise the
loud.
tabulation?
That's per person.
We believe that could easily be,
Yeah,
and
no,
probably
probably
is
six.
certainly beyond the margin of victory in this race.
Alright.
Because if it's only 3 scanners working for 2 hours, right, that's 18,000 ballots that went through.
They're just sitting there, they're just gonna keep scanning.
So we're now at 11:09. There were, in addition to the 4 workers that you see there were 2 other people who were bringing ballots in and out. The gentleman in red that you saw, and then